Guys, let's talk about pricing. I'm sure you guys have seen people advertise for $50 mini sessions for 50 images or whatever. And I think, like all advice, this does not apply to everyone. But I do think any photographer, no matter where they are in their career, would benefit from knowing that they should not race to the bottom of their pricing. I see it all the time, and the same photographers that are saying, man, I can't find any clients, or people don't value what I do, and then they're still advertising or marketing their services for such a low price. And you have to understand, you're commoditizing your services by doing that. Now, I'm not saying that you should just price gouge and jack up your prices for no reason at all, but really think about what goes into your service. You know, for me, I'm thinking about driving to the location, right? Doing the actual shoot, driving back, immediately backing up all my stuff to make sure that it's safe, backing it up to the cloud, duplicating to an external hard drive, whatever. And then you have to go through the culling process. Then you have to go and color grade. Then you have to retouch. Then you have to export. Then you upload it to a gallery. All that takes time. And I think these people who are charging so little either are just not thinking about it, or they're like, well, you shouldn't factor in the costs. Yes, you should. You should factor that in the cost. Just an example, Rachel got in a very minor traffic accident a few months back. Totally fine, even her car was fine. But the rear bumper, it got kind of dinged, just slightly. Couldn't even tell that there was a dent. And so we're like, well, we still have to go to the collision center, get an estimate just to make sure, because there's a sensor back there and you want to make sure it's working properly. Anyway, so I go to the collision center and I get an estimate. The guy comes out, he's like, oh, this is really nothing, but I'll just kind of work up like what it would cost to take the bumper off, take a look at the sensor, make sure it's fine, if we have to replace it, and then put the bumper back on. Okay, so the estimate, which I thought was like, oh, maybe it'd be like 100 or 200, probably this is my naivete showing. It turns out to be $1,400. Luckily, the person's insurance paid for it all, but that's not the point. The point is, if you looked at the itemized breakdown of that estimate, the collision center didn't say, oh, well, we're not gonna charge for like the time because that doesn't really count, or, well, it's not really damaged, so we won't charge them that much. No, they're like, it's $1,400, this is what it cost. So I was looking at that and it kind of got me thinking, and I was like, photographers, or just creative people in general, who are making a living out of this, need to adopt this mindset. Not this cold, like, oh, I'm gonna charge whatever, but literally, what does it take to do your job? And what does it cost, per every task that you're gonna do that requires you to deliver a valuable product? I can't say it enough. This race to the bottom of trying to compete on price is not doing anybody any favors. If you're trying to lower your price so you can get that one client, good, congratulations. If you land that client, now they're gonna expect that much of you. You've just created a ceiling for yourself. Not only that, the industry as a whole, I mean, not that you're gonna necessarily influence your entire local market, but if everyone is trying to compete on price, then all of a sudden, a photography session in Wilmington, for example, is known to be around $200. That's just not the case, okay? I just can't stress enough that you really need to think about what goes into your service. And it really just kills me when I see people charging these absurdly low prices. Again, if you're a college kid or someone else and you're just doing it for a quick cash, I can't really dictate what you should charge as a minimum, but there are way too many people complaining about, not being able to make a living. Really take a look at what you're charging and if it's a sustainable way to make a living. Because I guarantee you, if you're charging $200 or less, I would venture to say even more than that, but it's just not a good way to make a living unless you're gonna be doing insane volume, like several shoots a day. And even then, it's like, are you really wanting to shoot 500 times a year just so you can make pay your bills and barely have anything left over? Another thing too, by the way, if you're charging $50, I do not want you to delude yourself into thinking that that's $50 profit. You have overhead, whether you realize it or not. Taxes, right? The mileage for your car, all the stuff that you're using to edit, your gear and equipment, all that stuff needs to be factored into your price. Now, there's a website that I shared before. I can't remember exactly what it is, but I'll look it up real quick. It's the cost of doing business calculator. Please visit this site. My God, everyone needs to look at this. Okay, it's nppa.org/calculator. I'm gonna link to it. I swear to God, all of you guys need to look at this. Cost of doing business calculator. It's gonna ask you everything about your business. What your office and studio cost, your equipment, your internet, your vehicle expense, your postage and shipping, your advertising and promotion, your office supplies, your professional development, subscriptions. Literally, there's a million different things, and people don't think about this, okay? Now, it's gonna say what your desired salary is. It's gonna say how many times a year do you wanna bill, how many times you wanna work every year. All these things are gonna go into factoring, okay, what realistically should I cost, what should I charge for my services? You're gonna be surprised. If you're charging 50, you're literally losing money. You're losing money. So look at this calculator, figure out what it costs to run your business, and then figure out how much you have to charge to profit. Because guess what? You have to profit to keep your business alive. Who would have thought? Okay, so I'm getting hype over here, but I just wanted to get that out there. I mean, like, seriously, please do not devalue yourself.